Yo, what is good, Knicks Nation? Welcome to my recap video of the New York Knicks victory over the Detroit Pistons in their first preseason game. The New York Knicks defeat the Detroit Pistons with a final score of 90-84. There's a lot to get into. I'm just so happy that the Knicks are back and we can finally talk about Knicks basketball. And I'm just so thankful to have this YouTube channel to talk about my New York Knicks. This will be my first time ever reporting about the Knicks on YouTube. So I'm just so happy to have this platform built. I just hit 3,000 subscribers today. So thank you guys so much for all the latest support on this channel. It means the world to me. With that being said, let's jump right into my breakdown of the New York Knicks victory over the Detroit Pistons. So first of all, wow, what a game. Feels very good to have the New York Knicks back. And the one thing I will say before I break it down is this is the preseason. I said going into this game, whether we win or whether we lose, we should not overreact. I said this on my live stream before the game tipped off. I said if we win, we cannot feel like we're on top of the world. If we lose, we cannot feel like the house is burning to the ground. It's only preseason, but what I will say about this New York Knicks team, they showed me a lot. They showed me something that this Knicks team has been lacking for so long, and that is intensity on the defensive end. How many times have you heard Thibodeau being a defensive-minded? Everybody in the press conferences during media day is preaching about Tom Thibodeau's all about the defense, all about the details. How many times did you see the defense tip balls all over the place? They're just high octane. You see Tom Thibodeau is being holding his players accountable. There was one sequence where they were playing lazy defense and they give up a wide open three. Tom Thibodeau calls a timeout and is furious, yelling at his guys. It's preseason, and that's how Tom Thibodeau is coaching up his guys. It's just something that Knicks fans are not used to. We're used to David Fizdale babying everybody, saying, it's okay, guys, don't worry, you'll make it next time. No, Tom Thibodeau is a different animal, and he put his blueprint on this team already, and I can tell that this New York Knicks team is going to be way different than years past. And before I hop into each individual player, I want to talk about how the team played together. So first off, the starting five. I know this is not the fan favorite starting five, including myself. I was not a fan of it, but I was preparing myself for it. This is the kind of the starting five I was anticipating. For those guys that did not know who the starting five was, it was Elfrid Payton at the 1, Alec Burks at the 2, RJ Barrett at the 3, Julius Randle at the 4, Nerlens Noel at the 5. I'm still not a fan of this starting five at all. I thought the bench showed way more potential and way more continuity playing together. The starting five on the bench was Dennis Smith at the 1, Frank Ntilikina at the 2, Kevin Knox at the 3, Obi Toppin at the 4, and Mitchell Robinson at the 5. That is a fun lineup. Whenever the bench was out there, I was watching them and they're playing really good together, and I kind of got lost. I'm like, wait a second. This is the bench that we're looking at. Usually when the Knicks put their bench out there, we're like, oh, okay, these guys are scrubs. Let's get the starters back in. But it was the complete opposite. I was like, yo, I want the bench to be out there the entire time. So let's get into some individual players. RJ Barrett, he had a very interesting game. He started off the game really bad. He started 0-6. He was airballing threes, and he did not look comfortable out there. A lot of people on Twitter were overreacting. Oh my gosh, RJ Barrett, what's going on with him? He looks like a bust. He can't hit threes. And I'm like, guys, it's RJ Barrett. Do you not know who RJ Barrett is? He's been doing this throughout his entire rookie season. It's just a preseason. Let him ease into it. I guarantee he will be fine throughout the game. What did RJ Barrett do? He finished the game with the most points on the team with 15 points. After starting 0-6, he then went 6 for 8 from the field. That just shows you that RJ Barrett has the mentality to push through. He doesn't get too down on himself. He understands that he's confident enough to put the ball in the rim, and say he airballs 2 threes in a row, he's still going to shoot it again. He's still going to take you down low. He's still going to be a bruiser, be relentless. And that's why I love RJ, and that's why I always preach in my videos that he has what it takes mentally to be great in the NBA. And I will stand by that. He definitely has a lot to work on. His jump shot definitely needs to get improved, but I think there's room for improvement with RJ. And he finished off with 15 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, shooting 7 for 16 from the field, and 1 for 2 from the free throw line. So that's a solid day for RJ. And then let's talk about our rookie, Obi Toppin, making his NBA debut. Looked so impressive on the offensive end. He just looks like he doesn't look like a rookie is what I was trying to say. He looks so comfortable out there. He finished the day with 11 points, I believe. And I'm trying to find it on the app real quick. Yeah, 11 points, 7 boards. He shot 4 of 9 from the field. We saw him dunking. We saw him shooting threes. We saw him posting up and spinning move, like the spin moves. He was moving the ball around. He just looks like a guy that is a high flyer, relentless rebounder. I mean, 7 boards is good. He had, in just 9 minutes of play, he had 9 points and 5 boards right off the bench right away. He made an immediate impact. He looks like a freak athlete, and it's everything that everybody was hyping him up to be. I'm very impressed with Obi Toppin so far, and I'm excited to see him space the floor. I can tell he wants to shoot the 3, but there was people in his face, so he only shot 1 3-pointer, and it was a really high arcing shot that almost fell, but it did not. So again, Obi Toppin impressed me. He looked like he has all the arsenal in the world on offense. He was wheeling and dealing, spinning and winning, as Clyde would say, and he just looked very confident and comfortable on the offensive end in the NBA level, and that's what you want to see from your rookie. Another player I want to talk about, Mitchell Robinson off the bench. Mitchell Robinson did not attempt a field goal until like a minute left in the fourth or something like that. But he came away with 4 steals and 4 steals and 2 blocks, and only shot the ball once. That just shows you that Mitch is a tenacious defender, and you can tell that he's going to unlock to another potential under Thibodeau. I definitely rather him start, but if he can hold on to that bench unit, then I'm okay with that. I don't think the starting 5 is going to be the set in stone starting 5 for the future. Thibodeau said it's all experiential. We're going to see different lineups all throughout the preseason, so don't overreact to this lineup. But Mitchell Robinson definitely showed up and said, I'm a presence here. Nerlens Noel in his debut, he definitely impressed me. He had 10 points, 8 boards, shots 5 for 7 from the field, and he had 2 blocks and a steal. Nerlens Noel definitely proved, okay, I can see why Thibodeau put him in the starting lineup. He looked very efficient out there. He was a high flyer. He was a rim protector. He had an emphatic block that looked like he spiked the volleyball to the floor. And he just looks like a guy that I can tell Tom Thibodeau loves. And I kind of like our centers. Nerlens Noel is still young, 26 years old, and we still have Mitchell Robinson, who's 22. So we have 2 young, upcoming, defensive-minded defenders on that center spot, which is awesome. Julius Randle had his typical day. I really can't take this guy, to be honest, but he loves dribbling the ball. He loves being the point forward. He loves taking the ball up. I don't know why, but Julius had a decent game. He finished the day with, I think, 11 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, which is impressive, 5 for 11 from the field, and 2 steals. Julius Randle, he's going to be driving Knicks fans crazy for the whole year. He's going to have some games where he lights it up. He's going to have some sequences where he just turns the ball over, and then all of a sudden he has an and one or he hits a shot. He's very inconsistent. That's Julius Randle. What other? Oh, yeah. Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox came in, and he looked pretty comfortable out there. You saw him set into his rhythm. You saw him take his 3-pointers. He did not hit it. And then you saw him take that crazy mid-range jump shot, contested mid-range, and hit it. And he looked very aggressive. I want to see Kevin Knox do that more often. I want him to see him put his head down and grind. And I like what I saw from Kevin. But these 2 players I want to talk about that I never expected to see them on the same floor together, which is Dennis Smith Jr. at the 1 and Frank Ntilikina at the 2. Those 2 players played really good together. They really played well. Dennis Smith Jr. was the point guard off the bench, and Frank was right behind him. And Frank was just all over the place defensively. I mean, I just love Frank Ntilikina. This is why I'm such a Frank fan. And if you're a Knicks fan, you cannot sit here. If you're like a Knicks fan, but you're not a fan of Frank Ntilikina, you have to admit he's just all over the place on defense. And you can tell that he is a Tom Thibodeau guy. He is long. He is on your face right when they get the ball. So you're beyond half court, Frank's in your face. He's just tenacious on defense. That's why I love him. Dennis Smith Jr., he hit a nice 3-pointer. Maybe his jump shot is getting a little smooth. We know that he's working with this guy in the offseason to fix his jump shot. So if Dennis Smith Jr. can start hitting up those 3s, that's a huge sign. And Dennis Smith Jr. as a ball handler looked pretty impressive to me. He kind of looked very different than last year. Dennis Smith last year looked very lackadaisical, looked very lazy, didn't really try. This year's Dennis, so far from the first preseason game, he looks way more energetic and feels like he has a will to win, and he wants to prove that I belong in the NBA, and I have potential to be a really good starting point guard in the league. So that's my take on them. And then Elfrid Payton, he started as the point guard for the Knicks. He finished away with 10 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 for 11 from the field, and a steal. That's almost a triple-double. So kudos to you, Elfrid Payton. He's definitely not the fan-favorite point guard, but he's a guy that's a scrapper. He's a guy that's going to put up numbers. He's going to get dimes, he's going to get rebounds, and he's going to get points. He does not have a jump shot. He should not shoot the 3 at all. He did not hit a 3 at all, but he can get to the rim. He can finish. He can find his guys. He had a really nice look to Nerlens Noel. He looks like he's going to be the starting point guard for this team. What drove me crazy in the fourth quarter when the Pistons started to come back, I was getting nervous because every offensive possession, it felt like it was Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle. Nobody else. They didn't let RJ get the ball. They didn't let Reggie Bullock or Alec Burks or anybody else on the floor get the ball. It was just Elfrid and Julius, and that's what they have to avoid. That's what drove me crazy last year. They would ice out everybody else, and it would just be Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle, and it doesn't work. You cannot run pick and roll over and over and over again. But as I would say, as they played as a team, I'm really happy to see this New York Knicks team play together because they were very unselfish. It looked like on offense, they were moving the ball around. They were pick and rolls. They had really cohesion together. It looks like high energy, octane. They were all athletic. They were up and down the floor. Honestly, I'm just very impressed. I really am. Going into this game, I was a little nervous that they were going to come out here and not impress me, and they really did. They really impressed me. I don't want to read too much into a preseason game because there's a long way to go. And again, we did go against the Detroit Pistons, who is not the best NBA team. But listen, man, I'm impressed. I'm happy that we have Knicks basketball back. Leave a comment down below some of your takes of the Knicks game tonight against the Pistons. I love hearing what you guys have to say. And hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I just hit 3,000 subscribers, and that is all because of you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for more Knicks content. And that does it for this video. And again, please let me know your thoughts of the video and the game down below in the comment section. That does it for me. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Let's go Knicks! Peace.